Look at this dude. Wait till you see the.
How's it going, guys? Anxious Cynic back again, and as always, or as per usual, thanks for all the submissions we got for this week's compilation for the fishing rod rig. It was really cool to see what some of you guys came up with. Not everybody did a straight-up fishing animation. Not everybody did the straight-up, like I would have expected, what is it, the Hunger Games or whatever, a lot of the Minecraft mini games that use it. So it was pretty cool to see your guys' creativity and how you use the rig, and I hope you guys are enjoying it and come up with more cool things to do with it in the future. As such, there's not really much that I could comment on as far as like how things were done, how things were used that I haven't already commented on before. So, you know, I recommend if you watch these compilation videos regularly, obviously you would have to do this already if you're listening to this now, but I definitely recommend, and if you guys see people asking questions in the compilation comments or whatever, watch the ends where I give the tips and stuff, because some of the things that I mention at the end of the compilations don't seem to be getting addressed by everyone, and I don't know if some of you are just like skipping out after you watch the animations, you just close the video or whatever, but I highly recommend watching the whole video. And for those of you who know this, maybe comment to others who might ask questions or whatever in the comments, and let them know that there was useful information sometimes at the end of these compilation videos. So yeah, once again, hope you guys enjoyed the rig, and hopefully look forward to more rigging tutorials and rigs coming out in the future. The one you see, or this thing you see on your screen here, is absolutely nothing. Don't worry about that. That has nothing to do with anything ever. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just pretend that this here doesn't exist. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I think I've mentioned this before. I just want to go ahead and reiterate a little bit. Some of the submissions that we're getting are kind of teetering on the not eligible side. I don't know if some of you are kind of annoyed by this or notice it, but some things, you know, the animation itself could be 15 seconds to even a minute long, and the qualifying aspect, for instance, which is the theme of the week for, like with this one being the fishing rod, that part is maybe 5 seconds out of a 1 minute animation, just as an example. That's, as long as it's used well, that's not necessarily a disqualifier, but I really recommend you guys focus on what the theme is and really try to make the animation about the theme rather than just like putting it in there as a qualifier for being in the compilation or something. So like, I don't know for 100% if I'm going to try to crack down on that, but it's definitely something I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I just don't think it's fair to everybody to accept submissions who barely qualify by just inserting the theme very briefly in a longer animation. I know a lot of you guys may be seeing this as an opportunity to try and get your animation seen by a larger audience or something, but that's really not what this is about. Like, that can be a byproduct, but that's not what this is about. This is about you guys making animations that use the themes and the tools and the techniques from the tutorials, and it gives you a reason to use them and to practice them and to learn and show off your progress as we all continue on our journey with animating in mine-imator. So I hope you guys understand that, and I'm not, again, I don't know if it's going to really change how I accept submissions or not, but it's just something to be aware of. If it comes down to like, me rejecting submissions or whatever, I hope you guys understand. So also another note I wanted to mention, as far as these rigging tutorials go, once again, hope you're listening, and if you listen to this and you see other people asking questions, feel free to chime in and redirect them to the right information or even to this video or whatever, so they can understand and help keep the clutter of the same question being asked over and over down. But when it comes to these rigging tutorials, like the current week should be the crate rigging tutorial, or when I release a rig, like for the fishing rod. For like when I release a rig, the theme would be is just use that rig in an animation. Hopefully feature it prominently, like I said, don't just make it a qualifier, but actually use the rig and kind of have it be a big part of what the animation is about. As much as possible, within reason. You don't have to like really center it. It doesn't have to be the centerpiece of the animation, but just, like I said, there needs to be a little bit of a ratio to how you're using it, because 5 seconds of a 1 minute long animation, that's not really using the techniques. That's kind of just inserting it in there and crossing your fingers that it helps it qualify to be in the compilation or something. Anyway, that's when I release a rig. If that tutorial comes out on a Friday, because these are only Friday tutorials that the compilation applies to for now, you just use the rig. For instance, like this current week's theme, as of the release of this video, is the crate rig tutorial. You don't have to make a crate, you just use the technique that I used to make the crate. Generally there may be some differences. If so, I'll try to announce that in the tutorial itself. But in general, it's just use the technique that I show. You don't have to make a crate, you don't have to just use a rig or whatever. Some of you guys were asking about like making a rig in a different way. It kind of is about making a rig, but again, it's so you guys can practice the techniques, so you're learning and growing your mine-imator skills, animator skills, whatever you want to call it. So when I do a rigging tutorial, whatever I did, you can do it in your own way, but basically whatever I did in order to make it, the technique that I showed. For instance, the crate rig tutorial, I cannot talk again. That was showing how to use item sheets to build a rig. So the important factor of that is using an item sheet to build a rig, if that makes sense. So I can understand some of the confusion that came out of that, but that's basically it. When there's a rigging tutorial on how to rig, just try to make note of the techniques that I'm showing of how to do stuff, and then apply that and make an animation using those techniques. So that should do it. That's about it. That's all I have to say at the end of this compilation. Sorry that there wasn't any like real tips or anything, but with the nature of this particular theme, there wasn't a lot that I could do other than what I've already said in the fishing rod tutorial. So again, I recommend watching that if you're unclear on how the rig works or how to use it or whatever. So anyway, once again, thanks a lot, guys, for all the submissions we got and for the participation and the interest you all have in this mine-imator Minecraft animation compilation thing that we've got going on here. And I'm out. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the compilation, and I will see you next week.